pray. Dear gracious and Father, thank this another day. Thank you for all your many blessings, Lord. Lord, we pray that you'll be with us as we bring business in the city before us, and we'll make the right decisions for people in this community, Lord, and keep you in mind with our decisions. Lord, we want to pray a special prayer tonight for the White Span family of the 4-year-old boy that's had a difficult time that he's had. Lord, be with that family. Give them comfort and be with them. They look to you for guidance, Lord, during hard times. We pray that you'll be with the leaders in the White House, Lord, and the federal government with what's going on overseas, Lord, that that they'll look to you for guidance for the right direction to make the right decisions that glorify you and keep people safe and do what's right. And Lord, we pray that you'll be with us as we go through the rest of this week. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the January 7th, 2020 Winfield City Council meeting. First item on the agenda is approved minutes from the previous council meeting, which would have been December 17th. If anybody doesn't have any questions or comments about how the minutes were written, they need to ask for a motion to approve those minutes. I need to ask for a second. All in favor? All right, the next item on the agenda, we've got a CD number 57338 renewal, $252,621.04. Put out bids for the 6-month or 5-year period on this CD. Have you already put it out there? Oh, just got one. We always send these to the local banks here in town to give them all opportunity to bid what they would pay us on this CD. All we've got is one tonight from State Bank and Trust. That's the only one that's the only bank that applied to us. State Bank interest rate for 60 months is 2.05%. For the $252,620.04. That's the only one we've got. I mean, I guess I'm being the only guy that asked for a motion to approve that. So they don't. Is that where the CD's at the bank now?
No, it's there.
The CD's already at that bank. I got a motion in a second.
Second.
All in favor? I'm gonna turn 3 and 4 now. I'm gonna go ahead and move forward in the census of James Lake. We won't keep you here on this. In case you've got somewhere else you might need to be. If you want to go ahead and
Apologize for being
he's here on behalf of the census.
Just enough. Good evening. I do better.
So, again, I apologize for being a few minutes late. We got behind a big truck. It took us a little longer to come. We live in Tuscaloosa County in Northport. So, as the mayor said, my name is James Lake. I'm with the U.S. Census Bureau. My job title is a partnership specialist. And what we do with the Census Bureau, the Census Bureau falls under the Department of Commerce. As a partnership specialist, the project we're working on right now this time of year is the 2020 census. My job as a partnership specialist is to come and meet with city leaders, trusted members of the community. What we're trying to do is raise awareness for the census. It happens every 10 years. It's constitutionally mandated. We've been doing the U.S. Census every 10 years since 1790. And it's important. It's very critical to communities, particularly smaller rural areas, because of the amount of funding and the apportionment and the representation that goes along with that. Because the census is only done every 10 years, a population count is established every 10 years, and it's used for the next 10 years based on infrastructure, roads and bridges, funding, programs that come down from the federal government in terms of free and reduced lunch, Head Start, Medicare, Medicaid. There's so many things that go along with the population count because of those federal dollars and state dollars that come into communities based on that. We also deal with the apportionment that goes along with that after the census is conducted. Congress then relooks at all of the congressional seats and all of the elected districts and things like that, and that's all based on population. So this is our chance every 10 years to make sure that communities are providing services and funded for those services based on the right number of people that are in those communities. So we want to make sure we get out and encourage you all to partner with the leadership in the town, in the schools, in the churches, anywhere and everywhere we can, to let folks know that the census is safe, it's important, and this time around now more than ever it's going to be easy. It's safe because of the safeguards that the Census Bureau puts into that. We only ask the absolute minimum required information that's needed to count every resident in a household. That information is not shared with any other government entity, it's not shared with law enforcement, it's not shared with anybody else. Census Bureau uses it strictly for the count and provide those numbers to Congress and to the President so that they can, constitutionally cover the requirements that are mandated. I mentioned why it's important, the apportionment, the funding, those types of things. It's easy now more than ever. In the past, every 10 years for the past 200 and however many years that is, I didn't do the math. There was really only two ways you could respond to the census. You get years ago, or even recently, you get a questionnaire in the mail. That questionnaire has the questions on it. You fill that out, mail it back the old-fashioned way. If you didn't do that within a certain amount of time, then the Census Bureau, we hire enumerators that go out and they have a list of those addresses that did not respond the way I just described, and they go knock on doors and try to get the count that way. That will continue. But in the mailer that you'll get here in about 2 months, a little over 2 months from now, I'll also explain that in addition to that, your options are you can call a 1-800 number and you'll speak to a real person who will ask you the same questions. Or you can do it online. There's a secure website that you'll be able to go to and answer the questions there. So we're trying to get into the modern age. We're trying to increase the likelihood and the chances that people can respond. Rural areas that have issues with broadband and issues with cell service, that's an issue. We understand that. Again, coming back to the community, partnering with libraries, community colleges that have computer labs, those types of things. We want to try to do that as well. So we want to get the word out. We want to continue to put that word out. You can tell from the map that there are certain areas, more so than other parts of the state, where we have a lower count. It's a little bit misleading. On that map, the darker the color, the lower the response rate was. It's the way it's worded. It sounds a little funny. So this part of the county or of the state, it's a little bit better than some of the other parts, but nobody's at 100%. So we always have room for improvement. I cover about a 4-county area: Tuscaloosa County, Fayette County, Marion County, and Lamar County. And for the last 8 months, this is what we've been doing: is getting out and talking to ministers, housing authorities, schools, school boards, teachers, anybody that'll talk to us and make this thing pitch to get the word out. So that's what we're looking for from city leadership. You know, a lot of things you can do in terms of, you know, make a proclamation, public statements of support. We ask for sharing the information, putting it on websites and social media. If the town has a banner, you know, a scrolling marquee, put it on that. We ask schools and teachers to put information and flyers in the kids' backpacks and report cards when they go home. Any way and every way, in every community is a little bit different, unique in terms of what might work. And so we're open for suggestions. You have my contact information. We want to, you know, continue a dialogue and create this partnership that we're talking about. The timeline will be about mid-March, around the 2nd or 3rd week of March. The mailers will go out. Census Day officially is April 1st, 2020. Every 10 years, April 1st of that 10-year cycle is officially Census Day. But as soon as those mailers will go out across the country simultaneously around the same time. So everybody will be getting those, and the website and the phone bank and the mailing system will be hot and ready to go to receive that information right away. So we want people to respond early. We have enumerators and people in place who can, you know, what'll happen is over the course of March, April, May, June, several reminders will go out. Periodically, the Census Bureau will do a data sweep and harvest in all the information of those households that have responded and put them in, you know, in a category knowing that they've already responded, and then there'll be the still left over due out, you know, category that we've got to continue to work, and a couple of reminders will go out. And then sometime early summer, then the numerators go out and knock on the doors and try to get the count that way. That will continue on throughout the rest of the summer, really. And this has to be wrapped up by December 31st, but the Census Bureau will start working on that probably in the last quarter. So around the October or November timeframe, it's pretty much winding down at that point, and most efforts will have been made by then to try to get the count at that point. So that's kind of what we're looking to try to do and communicate and partner. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have or comments.
What's your number one problem with people doing census?
Lack of trust of the government.
It's never changed.
And in different parts of the state, it's for different reasons, but it's still the issue. And with, you know, with cybersecurity and data breaches and things like that, I mean, that's a challenge for us. It certainly is. Years and years ago, it was just the inability to communicate and get around all the places, you know, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Now, the challenge is a different one, and it's a new one.
There's not a better way to get a count instead of having people to, I mean, the government knows everything about everybody already. There's not a better way to get the information instead of through the census.
Well, people move. You have a homeless population, you have an incarcerated population, you have military bases that move around. So that knowledge is there, but it's an evolving and moving knowledge, and there's just no old-fashioned way but to go out and do it, you know, that way. It's kind of like campaigning or anything else. You know, you got to meet people face to face and try to reach them where they are, and so those are, you know.
I mean, I kind of look at it as based on the same way as when people go to vote. You don't get a third of the population in the city that votes. Out of, you know, 2/3 don't vote. It might be a little greater, but it's hardly ever more than half.
Yeah.
And it's kind of based on the same way that I feel like it's the same, probably the same people that don't vote that don't do the census.
Right. Right. And that's, you know, we got to figure out a way, and that's why we work with you all as leaders of the town, to find out what connects with people and what it is that will motivate them. People will be motivated if they see that they've got a personal stake and a personal interest in it. And everybody's motivated by different things. And so, you know, you've got, you know, your communities that rely on those government programs. They need to understand that those government dollars are tied to the count. So money follows the numbers. It doesn't always follow the need. We'd like to say that the money follows the need, but money follows the numbers.
That's never really been publicized enough. And it's never really been put out there, really, the benefits of doing the census.
Right. I think we're going to see a pretty large awareness campaign that's going to kick off like now. Governor Ivey, she's on board with this. She's been pushing this hard. She's one of the few governors in the Southeast. They appointed a state complete count committee. They've apportioned grant money through ADECA to help, you know, raise an awareness campaign. Congressman Adderholt understands. They understand the gravity of this because of the potential of losing a congressional seat and always leaving, you know, federal dollars on the table. It's federal taxpayers' money. We all pay taxes, and so the money's going somewhere. It's not like we're, counties and towns, communities are trying to, get an unfair advantage. I mean, these are tax dollars that are gonna go wherever the county is. And so, and you're providing, you as a city, you're providing services for every single person that's in this town, and so you should be funded that way. But the only way to ensure that is to get the count as best as we can. So we all need to kind of work together to raise the awareness. There'll be TV and billboard and media and social media and all that kind of stuff is rolling out right now.
How many questions are on the questionnaire?
There are 9 questions. It's a single page per person. Now, those 9 questions are asked for every person in the household. We have 5 children, so it takes us a minute to answer, 7 times, but it's the same 9 questions, and it's just basically they're looking for to try to get the count and the age and demographic breakdown of male, female, those types of things, because the funding dollars sometimes are based on those types of things, with that. So it's just a very, very basic, very quick, very simple questionnaire. Nothing that you're not asked on for, power bill or a mortgage or anything, a lot less actually than some of that.
Has anybody else got any questions for him?
About when he wants for us to do this.
Did they ask for your social security number?
No, sir. No social security number,
Resolution.
no personal banking information, no criminal record questions, none of that.
When you want us to have this resolution in place?
I think at this point, now that we've gotten past the holidays, the sooner the better. I think that would be beneficial, because the timing of that's going to come out right as soon as this media awareness campaign comes out, because we're 60 days from those questionnaires going out. So I think now would be a good time. We've been talking about this to other towns and communities and counties, beforehand, before the holidays, and it's probably a little early to do resolutions and proclamations and things, but we think now's the time.
Do you want us to discuss that then?
If you can read the resolution, I think we can. We've got it.
And that's an example. I can give Ms. Oliver, I can email her, a Word document that's got, that's a template of, for you to plug in your personal information, and you can modify the language in any way you want to. That's just a recommended, kind of the way that we would want the majority of the wording, but as a mayor, it's your prerogative to do that however you want to do it. But I have that in a
We
Word
can get
document
the
that I can
information,
send.
see it, and have a resolution prepared and act on it next meeting.
Yeah, we might give them a copy, council copy.
Yeah.
Has anybody been filling out any of these already, or?
Not the actual census itself. Now, the Census Bureau is an enduring bureau under the Department of Commerce. So it doesn't shut down and open back up every 10 years. It's an active bureau. And they do capture information and do other surveys of information. So people will periodically, over time, randomly get a questionnaire in the mail. And generally, that questionnaire is a lot more detailed, a lot more extensive. It's the ACS, the American Community Survey. And those go out at different times, and it's just, the Bureau does that at certain times. But the census questionnaire itself has not gone out yet. There's a sample of the questions. You can go to census.gov and look and find. You'll find a draft snapshot copy of what the actual census questions are going to be. But the census questionnaire itself hasn't gone out yet. It'll go out about the middle of March.
So that other one, my wife just filled it out not long ago.
Right. That's a voluntary, just another way for the Census Bureau to capture demographics and economic development and patterns of things. It does help with verifying addresses and certain things like that, because these enumerators have got to go out, and for those who are going to go knock on doors, they got to go knock on doors and find people where they are. And addresses changed from 10 years ago. A vacant lot may be an apartment complex now, or vice versa. So those surveys kind of also help, and they work, I think, pretty closely with the post office. We work with the post office to verify addresses also. But all that's a kind of a partnership to try to, cut down on the volume of time and effort. Because it's a pretty massive effort to get out and get this count and try to get it as correct as we can.
You speak on behalf, you speak for the counties, and I know you do in the city.
I do.
You're asking us to do our part as a city.
Correct. We've already spoken to the Marion County Commission, Fayette County Commission, Lamar County Commission, most of the cities around here. We just couldn't sync up schedules to try to get to you before the holidays, but we've talked to most all the councils and most all the commissions over the last 3 or 4 months. It's the same pitch, same So they're working, county commissioners, probate judges, they're working on it too. I've talked to Ms. West at the Board of Education and Ms. McRae and all them. We work with all them, Board of Education members, school members, teachers. We're working with all of them to try to get the word out, basically through the schools. And Ms. West was talking about trying to do, they've got an app that they use and an all call that they send out. She was talking about even maybe trying to do that to remind them.
Well, what I'm thinking about is, I mean, of course, I'll always try to figure out easier ways of doing things, you know, because every 10 years this comes about.
Right.
In 10 years, like I said, people move, things change, but on the part, as far as the city goes, I mean, we've got ways of knowing who's inside our city limits.
Mhm.
I mean, when they move here, I mean, because it's just for instance,
Power
everybody.
bill, water bill.
Everybody's required to have a garbage can. I mean,
That's right.
we've got a list of who's inside the city limit.
Yes.
But they need to personally fill out the census, but we might could maybe do something with the garbage bill.
We talked about that. I worked with the clerk down in Kennedy in Lamar County, and she was talking about putting it on the water bill or the garbage bill, a reminder on there. And all those things certainly work well. You could hold some type of event, have a census day event or some other type of event, and we could come and have, a booth there and give out materials and anything like that to get the word out is a good way also.
But you said there's one page per person, not 9 questions.
9 questions per person in the household, same 9 questions.
Don't ask anything about their debt and all this.
No financial information, no personal social security, no criminal record type stuff. It's just how many are in the household, what are their ages, what's their gender. It asks for dates of birth, because like in our case, we have twins. And so if I give, two numbers but the same date of birth, they need to be able to conflict that to make sure we're not counting the same person twice or vice versa. So there are a few questions like that, date of birth, but nothing that they can match that with, like a social security number, to try to reach financially.
I think that's the main thing, getting across to people who's not, well, Brett, this chief of police here, Brett Barber.
Yes, sir, I'm Brett Ross, I'm chief police. I was just gonna say, if I can get like about 3 weeks' notice before they do that, and I could put it out on our page,
Right.
because I'm gonna have a ton of folks, older folks, that's gonna be lined up at the door,
Right.
because they just don't, I mean, they're getting scammed daily.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
and
Unfortunately, you're right.
the ones that are not coming up here, they're just gonna throw them in the trash, because that's what we've told them to do. If it's stuff if they don't come up here and show it to us.
And it's good for the communities to know that when they're going around knocking on doors too, because, you want to make sure that they know people, there's a reason why folks are coming around. They should have something like this, and they should be able to officially identify themselves, but, people are skeptical, and we understand that.
I can put it out if I just know like a couple of 3 weeks,
Okay.
ballpark,
Right,
kind of what they can be expecting.
right.
and
I'll give you my card too, just so you've got a way to reach me. My card is in all y'all's folders there as well. Yeah, the more information and more awareness, the higher the likelihood of response and the less likelihood of issues and problems and
Sure.
concerns, and we all want that for sure.
Is race on it?
Yes, ma'am.
It is on
Race and gender are on.
it. If you're illegal, is that on it?
No, ma'am. That is not on.
So, if you have a town that has a lot of people that are illegal, and they aren't registered or whatever, they don't fill out any paperwork,
Correct.
the census. And then you've got everybody else, let's just say the elderly, that needs assistance, gets assistance. Are the people that get assistance, do they lose some of their assistance because of someone being illegal? But you can be, somehow, you can be illegal and still get assistance.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, does Miss Louise lose part of hers because someone over here has figured it out and they're illegal? So does she lose?
If she's entitled, if she's gone through the process and received those benefits through an application process and they've been granted and awarded to her, no, she would not lose any of those benefits. And if the illegal people that we're talking about that are here If they'll respond to the census, then there'll be more dollars to come in. I mean, we don't get into the political part of it. They don't want us
Yeah, I was
talking about
just
the politics of it,
how they divide it.
that. But our point is, we want to count everybody once, only once, and in the right place. And if they're here, if they're physically here anywhere on April 1st, they should be counted. That's the requirement, that's the legal mandate based on the Supreme Court decisions and all that came down. Now, the dollars will come in based on the number of people who are counting. So, again, those who qualify for benefits and programs like that, they qualify through an application process and been awarded benefits based on need. They won't lose those. It's just there may be less in the future to go around for future people who would have need, based on the dollars.
And so all this money that people get, this is tax money, right?
It's tax dollars that go into the government system and then they come back through.
Like say that Miss Louise worked 40 years, she paid in, so she's getting,
Well, that's Social Security, that's a little bit different.
is that right?
That'd be social.
That would be Social Security, but now Medicaid, Medicare, Food SNAP, and other programs are based on need, not based on what was paid into.
Oh, okay.
Unemployment is, Social Security is, Medicare is to an extent, Medicaid and SNAP is not. It's totally based on financial need. But those are funded through federal and state tax dollars that go into the system and then come back into the communities based on the application process and how that all works. So it's different pots of money and different,
Yeah.
ways of funding those things, but some are based on needs, some are based on what's paid into them. Tough questions. Good questions. It's difficult. It is.
We'd be glad to offer you that park day. We'll have several counties at the park that day.
Okay.
As well as have you come speak to the senior citizens at our
When-
senior program.
When is Park
The
Day?
first Saturday in April.
Okay. Let me write that down. Just, I guess just give me some information. I mean, I'll give you my card if you, I just, I'll need a reminder or something to be able to. Yeah, we can, we have booths, we have more information, brochures and materials to hand out, and that's perfect timing because they'll have just gotten the questionnaire within a few weeks before that. So that's good. Park Day will be good.
Hi, y'all, anybody else got any more comments? Appreciate y'all coming in.
Yes, sir.
We'll be working with you to try to get everybody in town. Maybe we'll get a reward for having 100% of our citizens.
Yes, you'll get a truckload of money coming in from the federal government. Just keep me posted on if you do a proclamation or resolution, we like to get a copy of those and we'll send them up to our headquarters. and all,
Next
so.
council meeting,
Okay.
which will be in a week after next.
Okay, great. Thank you much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. Y'all go by.
This is my wife, by the way. She's my traveling partner. She comes on these. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Y'all be careful.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, sir. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you.
No, next item on the agenda is part-time park hire pay schedule. Is this something we discussed? We're going to rediscuss?
Yeah.
Finalize, discuss? We've got,
Started out at 8 people,
yeah,
and you were gonna discuss and think about if you wanted to put her in the step scale. Where's Mike at?
part-time right there.
Was the senior citizen aide was the closest thing to this job?
How many part-time do we have at the park?
She would be 4, 5, 6, 7.
And your part-time now, is the part-time ever been in the step? And the top out pay for part-time is all of them the same?
I believe they're all in the step, aren't they?
I'm talking about the top out, is the top out for all the part-time the same?
You can take one and pass it.
Why not?
You can take one and pass it. That's it.
Okay. Take one class. We gotta get Chris. you said you've got, 4?
Let me have total 7, counting your facility supervisors and stuff. Edna and Susan and Charlotte, Gunn, Seymour, Blaine.
Yeah, I see them now. Hold on, I got 8. And are all these part-time working 19 hours or less a week now, every week?
Charlotte's fluctuates, depending on the season. Coach Beasley. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more than it averages.
So you're asking us to look at the whole part-time faculty employee or just up one
No, sir, we
position?
just need to top out for the bus driver. I think the comparable one would be Miss Edna, and she's 15 cents less than the bus driver starting out. You know?
I'm sure it's because the way these raises and different things, quarters here and there gets put in, sometimes it's a little bit, gets off. I'm looking right here. Is any, okay. So your a seasonal part-time maintenance is less than a part-time maintenance. Is that because it's seasonal?
They're not, I don't think they could have that raise.
No, it's what
Because they're not here for 6 months at a time, which raise would kick in. They're laid off.
Seasonal's not part-time, it's seasonal.
And your part-time faculty supervisor is still due one more step raise. Am I looking at that right? Or they're already topped out at the 1025?
I don't believe they're topped out. That's just what the top out would be when they accrue that much time.
Okay. So in February, I guess it's, because it says top 2519. Top. You see what I'm saying? 6 months from 10. You do it every 6 months, didn't you? Anyway, but that top, the date at the top is 10/1/19.
That was before the last raise.
Well, that included the 10/1/19 was the new top out for each position as a result of the quarter raise given on 10/1/19.
So that changed the top out.
By a quarter, yes.
But these positions will not be making more than what's on that after top out or anything.
So that, you could say that the 10/1/19 is your current top out for each position.
That's what I make sure we understood we wouldn't be, singling.
We knew what the start pay for the bus driver would be, but
And
there's
y'all-
not been anything beyond, as far as the top out. The council wished to put that person in a pay scale and top them out.
Have you discussed this with as a board, park board, have y'all discussed it?
We haven't, because we don't meet until tomorrow night.
Ma'am?
We don't meet until tomorrow night.
is this senior bus driver, the senior system bus driver, is there any special requirements for his license or anything for that person?
There is money involved, because they do handle money and keep receipts of that.
Of what now?
They do handle money and keep that receipt. The money, they're paid, you know, for the meals.
Yeah.
They have to keep that straight. If not-
Balance that.
Mhm. And they are handling, or will be handling passengers.
I mean, I'd probably, what I would recommend is if they're gonna do a top out on that, I would recommend going to the 1025, but I'm a little bit concerned why that senior citizen aid is at 50, is 1075. Mine's a 50-cent difference.
The 1075, Mayor, is the current top out for the senior citizen aid.
Right.
I'm not sure where the 1025
Well,
number
the
is coming
current,
from.
the current part-time facility supervisor is 1025. Is there a reason why there's 50 cents difference between those two positions?
That's just what the council has passed over the years in different, this council and previous.
I'm gonna recommend this council take top that position at 1025. Nobody has any discussion on it. You can ask for a motion, you make second. Second, all in favor? Move to
How about 1025?
Yeah. Step raises like you've got in place already. Next item on the agenda is the garbage truck purchase. Rob's here tonight. Rob, you want to come up, or you want to speak from back there about what we got, what we are looking at here? The reason, tell them what truck it is, and I guess y'all might have seen it sitting in the parking lot.
Yeah, I hope everybody got to take a look at it out there. It's a 2015 Freightliner, automated truck. It's got 28,000 miles on it. And you asked him 57.5, I finally got it down to 57. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that. He said another town on it. It's pretty bad, you know, so. That's the best he could do, he said.
Tell us what you've done, for us, making it quicker, making our job quicker, with breakdown time and different things.
Yes, we had it during the holiday season, trying it out, and I had 2 automated trucks out there during the holidays, and I mean, it went just like clockwork, and no one had to ride on the back of the garbage truck. We got it all done without having to ride on the back of the garbage truck.
And that, the last truck we purchased, is it paid off, or is it about to pay off, or where we at for it?
The automated truck did, the other truck is not.
So the automated truck is paid off.
Yes, sir. Yes. And I had oil samples taken out of the truck, and had analysis run on it, and everything came back fine on the engine.
What year is out of the automated truck?
14.
2014, how many miles we got on it?
150. 150.
150.
This truck's 15 model, it's got 28,000 on it. It has been wrecked. I mean, you know, the city of Greenwood, Mississippi had this truck, and it was in an accident. And that's all been fixed. It drives good, and Andy said it drives great.
It's actually quieter and more tighter than the Kenworth. It's got 14 Kenworth. There's no air leaks anymore down the road.
What's the new one cost?
Close to 200,000.
Yeah, we'll save it, it would help save the other, make, get more life out of it. Council got any questions for Rob about that? I'm gonna ask for a motion that we purchase that truck since the others paid for them. Instead of paying for it, we may put it out for bid for somebody to finance it for a period of time.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor? Then we're taking,
Thank you very much. I got one more thing. I've got an employee that's gonna be leaving. He turned his notice in back a few weeks ago, and this Saturday will be his last day.
so you need to post that position.
Not right now, I'm gonna take my time,
Okay.
and maybe in April.
We won't argue with that. We won't argue with that. That helps make that truck payable.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Rob, I'm gonna need you to, I don't know if you did, and I just didn't catch it. Who is it that you got that's resigned?
Jonah Howell.
I'm gonna need to. Can I just ask for a motion, second, to accept that?
Actually, he has it in writing.
You got it in writing, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask the council for a motion in a second to accept his resignation. Motion. Second. Second. All in favor? All right, Rob. The next item on the agenda is, old business. Has any of the council got any old business that we need to discuss? If nobody's got anything, I got the whole business that we have briefly talked a little bit about on the Boy Scout building down here, or where the center of concern was in. I kind of like council, which I mentioned it last time. Kemp Foundation has donated money to the city for us to use where we felt like it needed to be, and they've made a total of $30,000 worth of donations already to the city for what we felt like, where we felt like we could use it and needed to use it to benefit the city. And I have done a little research and talking. I would like to see us take that money that's donated from the Kemp Foundation and put toward remodeling the Boy Scout building. I'm gonna call it the Boy Scout building because does anybody remember what that, James Odom does, he's old enough, what was that building? What was that building originally built for?
National Guard.
National Guard.
How about that old?
Well, Jimmy's Pope Party, they said it used to be a National Guard building. In 1950, it was a National Guard building. I think there's more people in town that would rather see the buildings stay instead of tore down and done away with. I would like to ask the council if they would vote, on my recommendation, vote for us to use that money that we have received from the Kemp Foundation to put into that, to restore that building back to whatever it needs remodeling and upgrading, updating, wiring and sealing on the inside, and some work on the outside, and what roofing needs to be done. But the main thing is the wiring and the sealing and stuff on the inside.
Is the Christian Aid Center will be able to go back in, or do you got another plan for it?
I don't really want to plan until we get through with what we're going to do. I'd like to see. I understand, but I mean, the building's not. I understand when you remodeling something, if you got something going in, you might want to take a wall out here or add a wall here, or whatever. But no bigger than that building is, I think that can be done to If we decide to put something in it, or somebody to rent it, or somebody to go in it, or whenever they do. But I think that would be a good investment on our part if we use that money toward that remodeling of that facility. I've asked Mary Hatch and Don Stutter if they would oversee the project, because they've done such a good job down here with Main Street, with the pastime theater and the community center and different things. And Mary and Don, they do well getting grants for whatever they can get a grant for over there to help. I don't know if you got it off the top of your head, how many dollars worth of grants y'all received since you started that project over there, but it's a lot, I know, and I'd kind of like to see if they could, if the council would be in favor, if I could ask for the council to vote in favor for us to use that money toward that and let them oversee that project, and possibly maybe seeing if there's any grants available to help aid in fixing it. And I kind of feel like it might be for historical if we're going to keep it. So that being said, on my recommendation, I'd like to ask for a motion to go forward with this project and let them oversee it.
I'll make a motion.
And second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I'm a no.
All right, Mayor, I need y'all to go to work as soon as possible.
Y'all all pray for Dawn.
Yeah, we don't need Don to, we need maybe to get him on project, help get him well quicker. Y'all done real good with what you've got going on over here, and I know you got your hands full of other projects that we've got working on. I've got faith in that y'all kind of make sure that we get that taken care of. Yeah. Is nobody else had any old business? If nobody else got any old business, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next item on the agenda, which is accounts payable. I need to ask for motion to pay the bill.
Motion.
A second. All in favor? All right, I'm gonna ask the council if they will to let me go into executive session to discuss a business venture with an individual or company. We won't be taking any action when we come back. I just need to ask to go into executive session, discuss that for a few minutes. Ask for motion. All in favor? All right, that'd be all we've got for tonight.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/49 County News TV.